Oh, lovely day. I'm sure I'm supposed to be somewhere. Anyway. Day out at the zoo. Look at this is nice, isn't it? Sun shining, there's damselflies around, there's coots, there's moorhens.
Lizzie, what are you doing? We're going to be late for the lesson, come on!
Oh, sorry, Ellie. Yeah, I got a bit distracted. I'll meet you there. Right, let's go rowing. What's that sound? And welcome to World Rainforest Day, live here at Chester Zoo.
Fantastic, yes, so my name's Ellie, I am one of the educators here at Chester, and we are joined by the wonderful Lizzie Daly.
Woo-hoo.
Lizzie, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a scientist, I'm a wildlife filmmaker and presenter, and I'm thrilled to be here today.
We are really thrilled to have you. Now, coming up in today's lesson, we are going to be talking all things rainforest. Lizzie, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what we've got coming up?
Yes, so we'll be discovering where you can find rainforests, hopefully exploring all the different layers that you get in rainforests and meeting the incredible species that call this place home. And most importantly, we'll be learning more about what we can do to help save these critical habitats.
Fantastic. Now, before we get started, I do have a little bit of housekeeping for everyone. Now, we want everyone to get involved in our lesson today, so please do send us in your pictures. Just make sure you have the correct permissions. So that's either going to be parent, guardian, or teachers. Talking of teachers, for all of you teachers out there, we do have an exciting free online conservation curriculum toolkit all around rainforests for you to download. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to continue that learning in your classrooms. And finally, towards the end of our lesson today, we are going to have a Q&A. So make sure you send those questions into Slido for us. Now, as we said, we're going to be talking about rainforests. We are celebrating World Rainforest Day. Woo! What is this day? What's it all about?
Well, it's a very special day and it happens every year on the 22nd of June. And really, it's an opportunity for us all just to remind ourselves of how brilliant rainforests really are, how critical they are, and what we can do, however big or small in terms of our actions, what we can do to give back and to do our bit, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, to get us started, we're going to have a little discussion in your classrooms. What actually is a rainforest? Take a minute, have a little think. What is it like? What might it sound like? What might it smell like? What might it feel like? Let's see how you guys get on.
How could we describe a rainforest? What would it feel like, smell like, sound like?
Hopefully you guys had some great discussions then. Now, I've always wanted to visit a rainforest, but I've not been lucky enough to have the chance yet. Lizzie, what about you?
Yes, I have. And I love them. They're some of my favourite habitats. And I've been very lucky to explore, the Peruvian Amazon rainforest on expeditions. We've gone amongst the world's tallest tropical trees in places like Borneo. But one of my favourite rainforests is in Costa Rica, tracking jaguars. And I don't know about you, but if you close your eyes and imagine being in somewhere that's hot, it's humid, it's full of noise, it's a full sensory experience. And honestly, it's like stepping into another world.
Wow.
I love them. Yeah.
Wow, that's so exciting. That's so amazing. Now, tell us a little bit where we can find rainforests.
Yeah, so most of our rainforests are actually found near the equator. So imagine that kind of invisible line that wraps around the world between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And in this environment, it's incredibly hot and there's plenty of rain. And that's perfect because this combination allows plants to grow in an incredible way. And as a result, you've got this huge biodiversity, which then goes on to support an incredible amount of life. And what's exciting about today is that we're actually talking about rainforests in Southeast Asia.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Over in Southeast Asia. Now, we can split the rainforest up into 4 different layers.
Oh, okay.
And all the animals and plants that live in those layers are all specially adapted to be able to survive there. Now, I do have a bit of a challenge.
Bit of a challenge.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a challenge going.
Oh, I love a challenge.
Do you think they're all up for it?
Are you up for it? Oh, I can't hear them. Can
No.
you?
Should we try again?
Yeah.
You guys up for it?
That's
Oh,
better.
there we go. I
Cool.
think they are. Now, we
Okay.
are going to have to get up and out of our seats and moving around for this one.
Come on,
so I
then.
think we might need to pop these to the side.
Let's do my exercises.
And, oh, we're going across. There we go.
I'm ready.
Lizzie's
Let's go.
on it. We're
Let's
on it.
go.
We're all warmed up. Now, we are going to
Jockstrap.
have our actions for our different layers of the rainforest. We are going to start off all the way down on the forest
Okay,
floor. So
okay.
we're going to get all the way down.
Come on then.
All
Here we
the way
go.
down here. There
Come
we
on,
go.
all of you. All of you.
Let's go.
Keep
Oh,
going
maybe
like
not,
this.
maybe not quite.
Oh,
Maybe not
okay,
quite
sorry.
that low.
Yep,
Maybe not
okay,
quite that.
yep,
There we go.
sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
If you stay doing this in your chairs, you can do this with your hands on your legs instead of sitting down on the floor. Oh, Lizzie's going all the way down.
I just
All
want
the
to
way-
experience it. I want to see what it
Getting into
feels
it.
like.
Immerse yourself into it, Lizzie.
Right,
There
where
go.
are we? Where are
Forest
we?
floor.
Forest floor.
What's it like on the forest floor, Lizzie?
Right, well, it's damp. It's damp, it's dark down here. Plenty of insects, plenty of amphibians, lots of frogs that I'm seeing as well. And also those large mammals.
Oh, yes, don't
clouded
forget
leopards,
those.
elephants walking around.
Yeah.
I think I like it down here.
Not too bad, is it? Yeah. You can't find those elephants up in the tops of the trees.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. Now, we're going to, it's quite nice down here, but I think we're going to move up a little bit.
All right,
We're going to
let's
move
go.
up to our understory.
Understory.
Yeah, up to our
Ooh.
understory.
Okay.
What's it like here?
It's very shrub-like here. You've got a kind of bushy plants. I'm seeing lots of life that's tucked away. It's hiding.
hiding
Reptiles,
away.
snakes, lizards even. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it up here.
Animals that are hiding, there's a special word, isn't there, for when animals are good at hiding in with their background. Do you think they know it?
Ooh, yeah, do you know it? It's a good word.
It is. Give it a shout out if you know what that word is. Now,
Okay.
it's pretty nice down here.
I like it here.
Pretty protected,
Yeah, it's
pretty
not-
sheltered.
Yeah, I think I like the forest floor more, but I do like it here, yeah.
Venture up a little bit higher.
Yeah, come on, come
Okay,
on, come on.
we're going to make our way up
Okay.
to the canopy.
Canopy. Okay. Well, it's kind of open here. Lots of branches opening things. Yeah, it's lovely. I'm seeing birds flying past. I'm seeing primates.
Yes, look.
Yeah, going from branch to branch. Oh, flying squirrel. See that?
Wow, look at it.
Yeah,
Look at it
yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I like
wow.
it here. It's nice.
Pretty good,
Yeah,
pretty good.
fun.
We're going to go a little bit higher. We're going to go all the way up. Right
Oh,
up
go.
to the tippity-tippity top.
Okay.
Up to the emergent layer. Oh my
It's,
goodness.
we're
What's it
very
like up
high.
here? Oh my
Very
goodness.
high, but there's lots of sunlight up here. I'm seeing lots of butterflies, lots of birds flying over. This is wonderful. I'm also seeing orangutans and orangutan nests. So although we're very high, I kind of like it up here.
Yeah.
Can we get down?
It's a little bit high. Let's go back down. Let's go back down a little bit. Okay. Right. Let's see if you guys can remember those actions for our different layers.
Okay.
We'll do a quick run through of them. Start down on the forest floor.
okay,
And we go,
Like
down,
this?
Just about.
I'm
that'll
down.
do. That'll do us.
I'm down.
We're gonna go up. Get ready. We're
where?
going up to our understory.
Okay.
Oh, where all those shrubs and those bushes were.
Okay.
All the way up to the canopy.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, there we go. Branches out.
Lovely.
And finally, up to our immersion layer, right up at the top. Now, see if you guys can remember those. We're going to do a quick fire.
I'm out of breath.
See if we can get 3. You all right?
Sorry.
Need a breather?
minute. Yeah,
You
it's-
good?
It's high up there.
It's pretty high, isn't it?
It's terrifying, but yeah. Let's
Right,
go.
we got this, we got this.
Okay.
Now, first layer,
What are we
we're
doing?
going to go back up high. To the emergent layer.
Go!
Oh, you guys got it? Lizzie, what's going to be our next one?
Obviously my fave. Forest floor.
Forest floor.
Here we
Let's
go.
go. Oh, all the way down.
Get down,
we're
everybody.
Ooh. What about
Woo.
our canopy?
Okay, let's go.
All the way up. Ooh. Oh, that was a climb. Where are we going next?
Understory.
Understory, all the way down. There we go, down to our shrubs.
Oh, okay. I can hide here.
A little bit of a...
It's pretty good.
I'm getting out of breath.
You're out of breath.
How are you guys doing?
I am.
Right, a couple more.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's go all the way back up to our emergent layer. Oh, there we go. Oh, my goodness.
Down there.
One more. Last one, where are we going to go, Lizzie?
Obviously, you know where. Forest floor.
Forest floor.
Here we
Let's
go.
go. Oh, all the way down. Oh, do you know what? I might have a little nap whilst we're down here.
I love it down here.
It's not too bad, is it? It's
Actually,
not too bad.
do you know what? While we're here,
Yeah.
can we meet one of the keepers, the Shepherd's keepers?
I think so.
Yeah, they've got some animals that actually live down here and in the understory.
Fantastic. Now, Lizzie, are you going to roll your way to go and visit those guys?
I will. So I'll see you later.
Right. Right, we'll see you in a little bit, Lizzie. Oh, there she goes. There we go. Right.
See you 3 hours.
Right, whilst Lizzie's making her way over there, we catch our breath back a little bit. See if you can work out which layer these animals live in.
Bye.
Which layer of the rainforest do these animals live in? Sumatran tiger. The answer is the forest floor. Tigers live on the bottom layer and rarely climb trees. Silvery gibbon. The answer is the canopy. Their long arms help them swing through the trees. Reticulated python. The answer is the understory. They live in low branches, wrapping their body around them. Javan green magpie. The answer is the emergent layer. They live up high in the treetops.
We are back and we're in the butterfly house with the wonderful Katie, one of Chester Zoo's keepers. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you and all the other animals in this room. I'm excited to meet them.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this room, a lot of different animals.
Yeah. So before we meet them, what do you do here at the zoo?
So I'm one of the invertebrate keepers, so I look after a lot of the different bugs and other invertebrates on the section. So spiders, snails, and of course butterflies and moths.
It's a cool job.
It's a very, very cool
I
job.
have the coolest job here, who knows? But right, let's meet them. I cannot ignore this beautiful atlas moth here. Tell me everything.
Yeah, she is absolutely beautiful, isn't she? So she is one of the largest moths in the world. And this is a lovely female, and you can tell because she's got quite a large abdomen, and also she has these beautiful sort of thinner antennae as well, where the males have these more fluffier plumage ones.
Yeah, and that's all to do with?
That's for pheromones, so that they can, the males can search out the females when they're ready to breed.
Brilliant. Can we quickly just touch on that incredible pattern? And obviously they get their name Atlas moth because of that pattern as well, don't they?
Yeah, so the pattern of them is really significant because they actually, when they have their wings closed, will look like a snake head, which can deter predators. But a lot of people associate the pattern with like a world map or an atlas as well.
Yeah.
The name also calls back to the Greek myth of Atlas holding up the world.
So cool. So what are some of the challenges that these Atlas moths face in the rainforest habitat?
So the main challenge that these guys face is the fact that when they're an adult, they don't actually have any mouth parts, which is quite amazing to get your head around, but they don't need it. They spend a lot of their time as the actual caterpillar and then have their fat reserve to get them to the adult stage.
Okay.
But this means that they only spend a couple of days as an adult, so they need to find a mate as fast as possible to try and breed and carry on the next generation.
Okay. And why is that a problem then?
The biggest problem is that when parts of the rainforest are cut down, it leaves fragmentation. So you have to travel further to find mates. And these moths don't have that time to chance it. They need to be able to find a mate as fast as possible.
Okay, so actually that deforestation is causing them to not be able to find a mate and continue. Wow, okay, yeah. big problems for a beautiful moth, I have
Oh,
to say.
yeah.
Some of my favourite.
They're
I love
so
them.
beautiful.
Right, let's move on to our second animal. And I'm looking at you guys because I want to see if you can spot it in this incredible plant here. Look up and down, have a little scan. It is actually there. And if you can't see it, then my mind is blown because it is there. It's very big. Put them out of their misery, Katie.
Yep, so we have a lovely
Look at
female
that.
jungle nymph right here.
Massive.
So this is actually one of the heaviest bodied stick insects in the world.
And a pretty impressive armoured stick insect as well.
Oh yeah, so these guys have this amazing exoskeleton, and you can see there's all of these thorns and spikes, and they actually will use them as self-defense, and they can kick at predators to deter them.
So what are some of these special adaptations in a rainforest habitat then for these guys?
So these guys like to hang out in the trees a lot, which can put them as a big sort of food item for different types of birds. So that's the main reason why they need these really sort of significant spikes as a defence, because they need to be able to fight off different predators.
And the other thing that you absolutely cannot miss is the fact they're so well camouflaged. Even just looking now, it's kind of it's easy to lose kind of where they start and where they end, right?
Yeah, this is one of their main methods of defence, is to just not be seen at all.
Yeah, okay.
You can imagine that this, in a rainforest where there's even more leaves, it's even more dense vegetation, it's going to be impossible to spot them.
Where in the rainforest will you find these guys?
So you can find these guys in the trees, but with the females in particular, sometimes you will find them on the forest floor because they will actually lay their eggs into the soil.
Okay, amazing. Right, last but not least, one more animal, and we're looking down here for that. Okay, so I'm seeing big snails.
They are very big snails. So these are actually one of the largest terrestrial mollusks in Asia.
So what species are they? What are
So
these guys?
this is Bertia cambodiensis, which is a massive name for the Vietnamese giant magnolia snail.
Cool. Okay, are they rare?
They are incredibly rare. There's only an estimated 300 of them left in the entire world.
300.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what work are you doing here with them to help restore those numbers?
So we're trying to find out as much information as we can on these snails because not much is known at all. We are developing the husbandry of them so that we can care for them more efficiently and hopefully get more breeding populations within the zoo itself.
Such important work then. What's their role in a rainforest habitat?
So these guys are the detritivores, which means that they are eating and consuming a lot of the decaying materials on the forest floor, like these leaves here.
Yeah.
And what they do is they will eat the leaves, and as they pass through the digestive system, they are releasing all of the nutrients back into the soil and promoting that soil health for the rest of the trees around the area.
And why are there only 300 left in the wild? Do we know?
So these guys, unfortunately, are suffering a lot from deforestation. If you lose the trees, you are losing the leaves. And if you are losing the leaf litter that they rely on, they just can't survive. And unfortunately as well, they're so pretty that people will take advantage of that. And they will hunt these snails for their shells.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
there are a lot of shell collectors that will try and sell them.
Okay, so it's important work then, what you guys are doing.
Yeah, very
300
important.
left. Ooh, it's not a lot. Right, speaking of positive work, I'm going to give you some positive action cards. Now, we're giving these to all our guests, and on them, there are ways that people can help to support rainforest ideas, strategies, things like that. Do you want to pick a random card and read it out for our audience?
I'll pick that one.
Okay, and yeah, read it out.
When shopping, you can look for the sustainable logos such as the Rainforest Alliance and Sustainable Palm Oil.
Love it. Easy, to the point, and very actionable. So, Katie, thank you so much. It's been amazing to meet all of the animals here, so I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for having me and all the animals as well.
Yeah, awesome. Right, now, let's put ourselves to the test. How much can you remember about what we've learned?
What is the invisible line around the centre of the Earth called? The answer is the equator. Tropical rainforests are located near the equator, between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. What is the rainforest layer between the forest floor and the canopy? The answer is the understory. It sits between the forest floor and the canopy. What species of giant moth did we meet earlier? The answer is the atlas moth. They are one of the world's largest species of moth. How many Vietnamese giant magnolia snails are estimated to be left in the wild? The answer is less than 300. Here at Chester Zoo, we work all over the world in lots of different rainforests. We also work with lots of different organisations that help us protect the wildlife in those rainforests. We are very excited to be joined by one of those organisations now.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're about to be joined by Amanda, live all the way from Borneo. Hi, Amanda.
Hi all. Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here today.
So let's start by you telling us a bit more about Hutan. What's your mission?
So I work in an organization called Hutan. And Hutan is an organization that is located along the Kinabatangan River that's located in Borneo. And Borneo is an island. It's the third largest island in the world, much more larger than UK. And the island of Borneo is divided into 3 countries, which are Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. So the island of Borneo, it has a diverse species of mammals, birds, and reptiles. And that's where Hutan is located, in the Malaysian part of Borneo, where our aim is to protect not only the orangutans, which are endemic in Borneo, but also the other species and its habitats.
And what are some of the issues that you guys are trying to solve?
So in the island of Borneo, where we have one of the oldest tropical rainforests, and it is home to diverse numbers of species. However, years and years ago, many of the forests have been cut off to make way for farming, if not for settlements. And what's left right now in the island of Borneo are forests that are separated from each other, and they're very patchy and quite far away. And this causes problems for the wildlife inside the forest because they are not able to move around, they're not able to see and meet up with other wildlife, if not their own families. And this causes more problems because they are entering into human space. And when wildlife enter into human space, it can cause conflict. So it is important that we try to solve this problem by creating a safe passageway for them to move from one forest patch to another.
And what species are impacted by the destruction of these rainforest habitats?
So the rainforest that we have in Borneo is home to a diverse species of wildlife, be it large and small. The rainforest is an important home for them. So if there are destruction towards the rainforest, it can cause big impact. We're talking about large mammals like the Bornean pygmy elephants, as well as clouded leopards and sun bears. And it goes the same as well to delicate species like frogs that are very sensitive towards environmental change. The forest provides food source, a home for them, a shelter for them, as well as water. Without this all, they could not survive.
Oh, fantastic. So how is what you've learned so far helping you protect those orangutan species?
What we know so far is that orangutans cannot swim. And this is such a big issue because the forests that we have along the Kinabatangan River are separated and very patchy from one another. But understanding that orangutans, they depend on trees and they are arboreal species, meaning that they need trees to move from one place to another. So Hutan, we work together with Chester Zoo to put up orangutan bridges to enable them to move from one forest patch to another safely. And this gives them the opportunity to look for more food source and also possibly a better home.
And what other species do you help through this work?
So another type of wildlife that we are trying to protect are the hornbills. In Borneo, we have 8 types of hornbills, and hornbills are very large birds. So since they're large, they require bigger trees for them to nest in. However, that's not the case in Kinabatangan, because long time ago, most of the large trees are being cut off for timber. And what's left are the trees that are growing, and also the trees that we've planted, but they are not growing large enough for hornbills to nest in. Hence, we work with Chester Zoo to put up artificial nest box for them to call it their second home.
What's been the positive impact that you've seen of your work so far?
So from the efforts that we do in Hutan, in protecting the forest that's left, but also restoring the forest with more trees, we are starting to see positive impact after so many years of working. We are seeing more forests recovering, and we are starting to see more animals using the recovering forest.
And finally, what is one thing that people here in the UK could do to help you guys out in Borneo?
So what I can tell you is that for everything that you use impacts the forest and it impacts the wildlife. So do some study, do some research. What does your toothpaste, their ingredients come from? Does it come from what type of oil? If that oil originates in a country that has species that are threatened by habitat destruction. So find out more and see and be more mindful of these ingredients.
Amanda, that was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk with you all about Borneo as well as the orangutans and the work that we do. So, talk to you all soon.
Well,
Thank you. Oh, that was great.
That was fantastic. Now, it was really interesting hearing all about...
Oh. Ooh.
What is that?
What's that loud noise?
Not too sure. I think maybe from over there.
Yeah, I'm going to investigate. Right, you stay here. I'll see you later.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, so very shortly, I am going to be disappearing as well to get ready for our Q&A. Make sure you send your questions in to us over on Slido. Before I go though, let's have a little recap. Okay, so today we have learnt all from Lizzie about how beautiful and amazing the rainforests are. We've learnt about those 4 different layers of the rainforest, see if you can remember what they are and what those actions were. We've learnt and talked to Katie, our keeper, all about animals that live down on the forest floor and the understory. But I think it's time we start making our way up through those layers and head up towards the canopy. And hopefully Lizzie can find out who was making that noise. Right, over to you, Lizzie.
So I'm joined by Mark, who works on the bird team here at Chester Zoo. Hi Mark, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
It is, it's lovely.
I have to ask you, burning
Yes.
question, who has been making all of that noise?
The bird making all that noise is our male hornbill just behind us here.
Okay,
Our
great.
male rhinoceros hornbill, there he goes.
There he is, you can even hear him flying. He's so big. So tell me about this hornbill then.
So the rhinoceros hornbills are a Southeast Asian or an Asian species of hornbill. They are a large-bodied hornbill and they're best known for that very distinct horn on the top of their on top of their beak.
Yeah, you could tell the difference slightly in the shape between the females and the males, can't you? But
Yeah, that's
so why would they need such a big ornament on their head?
So there's a lot of theories out there, and the best theory that the scientists have reached at the moment is that that helps amplify all those calls that we can hear. That's what makes it loud. So just like shouting in a hall, it echoes around and is much louder. That's exactly what that casque is doing.
You mentioned where they live. But of course, it's quite like a complex habitat living in a rainforest. So what special adaptations do they have to live in that environment?
So they feed predominantly on figs and small insects and small mammals and reptiles, and that huge bill is really very dexterous. They can reach the very end of the branches and they can manipulate all the fruits that they want, and they have a very high fruit and particularly fig diet. But with that heavy bill, they need to be able to carry it. So the two vertebrae in their neck are fused. It's the only bird species with fused vertebrae, and that helps them have the strength to hold that beak up high. That's just one of the many adaptations they've got for rainforest living.
Okay. They're a pretty impressive bird in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've heard about some of the impacts, seen in the habitats in which they live. Is things like deforestation impacting our hornbills?
Yeah, absolutely. All of the deforestation that's happened historically, a lot of the trees that have been taken out of the forest have been the large trees. That's what's going to make the timber merchants the most money. And it's those large trees that have the large cavities. These guys nest in the tree, in a cavity, in a tree, in a hollow, and the female will seal herself in, and the male will feed her for the duration of her incubating the eggs and rearing the chicks. So with those large trees missing, so are the large cavities, and so are the opportunities for these really long-lived birds to have chicks and secure the future of the species.
I think it's one of my favourite things about hornbills, their nest cavities. It's like actually really impressive, isn't it, how they seal themselves in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I won't go into details what they seal themselves in with, but they...
Give us a clue.
It comes out the other end of the hornbill.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all sorts of mud mixed in with poo and bits of fruit, and they make that cavity that they'll have gone in through into just a small slit. There's a few theories for why that might be, protecting themselves from predators, but also one of the other reasons they think it might be is to prove to the male that no other males are here and this chick will be yours, so you need to look after me and your offspring.
So smart. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Even if it is made of poo from the other end.
Yeah.
So we've heard from Amanda from Hootan about the artificial nest boxes and the work that you're doing there. So what does it take to build an artificial nest box? Tell me.
It takes a lot of effort in very high humidity and very warm rainforest.
Lots of sweating.
Yes, lots of sweating. So obviously we don't have a rainforest here in Cheshire. We don't have those huge trees. So our keepers here are always creating artificial cavities. So with our expertise of making artificial cavities, that's exactly what these long-lived species need in the wild at the moment. Their lifespan is shorter than it's going to take for the trees to get to the size that they need again.
Yeah.
So we're placing artificial cavities around the forest
okay.
In order to give them those nesting opportunities. What it takes is usually a team of about 10 to carry the nest into the depth of the forest.
And what are you carrying in now, like a big box?
It's usually imagine a big barrel. Imagine a big barrel. It's not full of wine, but it is full of hopefully hornbills. So we will carry that barrel into the forest. They fire a small line up into the canopy of the tree, take some ropes up with that, and then two climbers head to the top of the tree, and everybody else on the ground, there's about 7 or 8 of us, will haul that nest up into the tree, and then they will fix it up there.
Wow. And it's successful?
It is, yes. Yeah, the Chester Zoo boxes were the first artificial boxes to be used by rhinoceros hornbills in the wild.
That's incredible.
And I think now we're at a total of something like 6 or 7 chicks to have come from that one box alone.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow, huge success then.
Yes, we're very proud.
What other things do you do to help conserve these hornbills?
So we at the zoo take part in a number of what are called EEPs. So there's all of the 4 species that we house here are all managed across Europe to better the population so that we can understand as much as we can about them and make sure that we're basically pairing the right hornbills, the right girls with the right boys, and maximising the success that we can possibly have. Alongside that, the EP coordinators will make sure that there's plenty of research going on behavioural repertoire, on diets, and their biology in general, really.
Okay. And hornbills are some of your favourites, aren't they?
They're absolutely my favourites.
Why are they your favourites?
I've always had a long love for them. I was fortunate enough to travel out to Borneo when I was younger, and as soon as you see the birds out there, you're just captured. Your imagination's captured.
Well, good news. I have actually got something very special here. These are positive action cards.
Righty-ho.
So we're giving these to every one of our guests, hoping that they'll pick one. And essentially these action cards are ways that people can do things in their day-to-day to help protect rainforests. So fancy picking one?
Go for it.
Okay, right. Anyone?
I will make this easy. I'm going to go straight with the one on the top.
Yep, that's for you.
There we
Take it.
go.
Give it a read.
Okay. You can raise awareness about the rainforest by telling your friends, families and school all about what's happening to the rainforest and what we can do to help.
Mark, that's brilliant. Thank you. You heard it here first from the man himself, and brilliant to meet your wonderful male rhinoceros hornbill.
Thank you.
So thank you. Cool. So we've now explored species that live in the forest floor, in the understory and high up in the canopy. But next we're about to meet the species that live high up in the treetops. And make sure you're focused because there may be a little quiz afterwards too. Orangutans are one of our closest living relatives. In fact, their name in Malay and Indonesian means human or person of the forest. So, let's find out a little bit more about these fascinating animals. There are 3 species in the world: Sumatran, Bornean and Tapanuli orangutans. Here at Chester Zoo, we have Sumatran and Bornean. Both species come from Southeast Asia, but there are slight differences between them. Bornean orangutans from the island of Borneo tend to be darker in colour and go down to the forest floor more often. Sumatran orangutans from the island of Sumatra tend to be paler and more golden colour, and they will stay in the trees more because tigers are found on the forest floors of Sumatra. Orangutans mostly live in trees and they are very well adapted to this habitat. Orangutans' feet have changed so that their big toes have become like thumbs, which allows them to climb very swiftly and hold on to things with their feet. Males also have adapted fleshy cheek pouches called flanges, which act like hands cupping around their mouth to make their voice much louder to travel through the rainforest. They've learned to build nests up at the top of the rainforest. They camouflage their nests by making them out of different materials, so any animals on the forest floor looking up won't be able to see them. Orangutans are omnivores, meaning they can eat both plants and animals. They mostly eat fruit, but can also eat leaves, bark, roots, insects, and even small mammals. Orangutans live up to 40 years on average. They generally give birth to one baby at a time and, like humans, have a gestation period of around 8.5 months. All 3 species of orangutan are critically endangered. In fact, there are only 13,000 Sumatran orangutans left in the wild and fewer than 800 Tapanuli orangutans. Their biggest threat is habitat loss, largely due to the production of unsustainable palm oil. When palm oil is grown unsustainably, large areas of rainforest are cleared to make room for palm oil plantations. Chester Zoo works with our partners Hutan on the island of Borneo to protect orangutans and other species and to rebuild natural habitat to ensure humans and wildlife can coexist peacefully. By buying sustainable palm oil products, you're helping to protect the habitat of these critically endangered orangutans and many other species.
True or false? Orangutans are herbivores. This means they only eat plants. This is false. Orangutans are omnivores. This means they eat both plants and meat. How long, on average, do orangutans live in the wild? Orangutans live for around 40 years in the wild. How many Sumatran orangutans are there left in the wild? The answer is less than 13,000. They are considered critically endangered. What does the word orangutan translate as in Malay and Indonesian? Human or person of the forest.
Next, I'm joined by Kat, who is policy lead here at Chester Zoo with a big focus on palm oil. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's great to be here and look at where we are, right in front of the orangutan.
I know, it's like we're in Borneo.
Yeah, it's perfection. And I want to ask you more about palm oil, but first, what is it that you actually do here?
Yeah, so my role, very complicated title, but I'm policy lead for deforestation-free commodities. Essentially that means that the products that we eat and that we use in everyday life that have come from agriculture out in areas of the field where they might have impacted wildlife, that's under my remit to look at. So I work out in Borneo on palm oil and orangutans, and I work in South America with soy and tapirs and jaguars, for example. So it kind of spans across all of those different agriculture landscapes.
So, and what exactly is palm oil and where is it used?
So palm oil is an edible vegetable oil. So it's very similar to your sunflower oil and your rapeseed oil that you'd use in everyday cooking. Palm oil itself can be used as an oil or it can be used in products. So it's actually a semi-solid at room temperature. So it's put into things like margarines to make spreads spreadable. It's got all of these amazing qualities in it that means it can be used in lipsticks, which help the colour stick to your lips. It's used in pot noodles, it's used in bread, it's used in chocolates, it's used in animal feed. Absolutely loads of things. So a lot of packaged products that we'll buy in the supermarket will contain palm oil or another vegetable oil.
So packages as well as food, as products, as everything that we're using in our day-to-day lives?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Wow, okay. What about unsustainable palm oil then? What makes it unsustainable?
So we class unsustainable palm oil as palm oil that's been grown without those kind of strict criteria that have protected wildlife or protected people. So when we're talking about unsustainable palm oil, we're thinking about palm oil that has caused deforestation in the past, where areas of rainforest have been cut down for palm oil plantations to be put there. Or local people have been, their homes have been taken from them and there was land grabbing associated with that plantation. A lot of pesticide and fertiliser use that would associate with unsustainable palm oil. So there's a lot of regulation that we can put in to help control that, but when it's unregulated, that's when it makes it unsustainable.
And how much of our palm oil in our day-to-day products are unsustainable?
So there's different criteria for sustainable palm oil. The one that we use, which is the strongest, is the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, the RSPO, and that's at about 20% of global palm oil being covered by RSPO.
Okay.
So there are other industry standards. So for example, Malaysia and Indonesia have their own industry standards, but they're not quite as high as RSPO for kind of environmental and social protection.
Okay, so it's out there, unsustainable palm oil, most definitely
out
being
there.
used.
Yeah.
So why aren't we using alternatives, if we know the impacts and the negatives around using this unsustainable palm oil?
So with palm oil, it's been really popular since it was introduced in Indonesia and Malaysia, probably around 30 years ago. That was when kind of the mass production of palm oil happened, because it's incredibly efficient. So it's very high yielding compared to the other vegetable oils. It's got a lot of qualities, like I mentioned before. It's odourless, it can be used in many different products, so it's got those properties that some of the other vegetable oils don't have. But essentially, because it doesn't take as much land to grow palm oil as it does for others, it's more efficient.
Okay.
So you would need more land if you wanted to use soy or rapeseed or sunflower oil. You'd need more land to get the same amount of oil.
Okay.
So it's incredibly efficient. It's also really important for the economy. So Malaysia and Indonesia, they have a huge economy, so many people employed. I think in Indonesia, 4.5 million people are employed by the palm oil industry. So to turn our backs on an industry feels wrong, taking that away and causing even more social issues. So yeah, there's lots of kind of different aspects to consider when we're talking about should we use palm oil or another vegetable oil.
It sounds quite complex, and you know, myself as a consumer, if I'm out and about, I want to make sure that I am looking for sustainable palm oil products only. But how does the everyday person do that?
So it has been difficult to try and find sustainable palm oil. Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil was set up in 2004. Loads of manufacturers and retailers have been using sustainable palm oil, but it's not necessarily labelled. So although we know in the industry it's being used, it's been really hard for the consumer to actually find it. There is a logo for the RSPO, but not everyone uses it. So you can find some products out there with the RSPO logo, but sometimes it's just not available. You have to search and trail through websites to find the information. One of the things we did to try and help was create a shopping list, and we've now turned that into an app, which you can see here.
Hey, look at that. Wow, okay. It's a palm oil scan.
So Palm Oil Scan, it's available in a number of countries around the world now. So America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia and Singapore, and also here in the UK. So it was created by zoos. The idea of the Palm Oil Scan app is that you can scan your products in the supermarket and it will give a rating for the manufacturer as to its sustainable palm oil use.
Brilliant, brilliant. So keep an eye out for palm oil scan. Brilliant app. Oh, that's so good, so useful. Very, very informative. Lots of interesting things just to consider there with palm oil. Before you go, I want to share with you some positive action cards. So these are ways that the everyday person can do their bit to give back to the rainforest to do better for our environment and our habitats. All right, rainforest. So we want you to pick one and read it out, please.
This one. Okay, so you can write a letter to your local MP at any age to ask the government and those in power to support and protect the rainforest.
Love it.
And this is a great action. If you want to do this, we've got some resources on the Chester Zoo website that you can have a look at to help you.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Kat, thank you so much. That was so interesting. And very shortly, Ellie will actually be answering all of your brilliant questions that you have been sending in. But before we go to her, let's recap what we've learned today. We started by learning all about rainforests, where they are and the layers within them. We met up with Katie, who introduced us to some of the forest's hidden inhabitants. Amanda told us about how Hootan and Chester Zoo are working together to help the animals of the Bornean rainforest. Mark introduced us to a rather noisy bird that likes to build its nest in the trunks of forest trees. And finally, Kat talked to us about palm oil and what you can do at home to ensure you are buying sustainably.
Fantastic. That was really, really interesting to learn about, and also to find out what we can do to help. Now, it is time for our questions, and we've had loads of amazing questions coming in. But what we're going to start off with is Meadow Lane Primary, who have asked us, what is the most threatened species in the rainforest? Now, I had to do a bit of thinking around this one, but I think one of the most endangered and one of the most threatened is the Javan rhino, which are found over in Java in Indonesia, and they are critically endangered with only around 75 individuals left in the wild, which is not many at all. I've also then got from Riverside Academy, what temperature is it in the rainforest? So a little bit earlier we mentioned how hot it is in the rainforest, but we're looking about, on average in a tropical rainforest, about 28 degrees Celsius, and generally not going any colder than 20 degrees, and it can get as hot as 35 degrees Celsius. So very, very, very hot over there. I've got another question coming in saying, if you could live as any animal in a rainforest, what would it be? Where would you live? Which layer would you choose to call home? Oh, now that is a very, very good question. Now, I know Lizzie and I quite enjoyed being down on the forest floor earlier, but I think if I could choose one, I would actually go up for the canopy. I think being able to see all of those animals down below. And if I was going to be an animal up in the canopy, I think the orangutan would be a fantastic animal to be. I've actually got a little example here of that orangutan. We're already, as humans, pretty well adapted to living as a primate, being an ape as well as the orangutans are here. We've got those forward-facing eyes, just like the orangutan, which helps us see how far away branches are so we can climb and swing. We've got very similar teeth to the orangutan as well. So we've got our flat molars at the very back, we've got our canine teeth, and we've got our incisors at the front. Perfect for eating lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, but also a few little insects maybe in between and a few small mammals. Okay, my next question from Mr. Much's class is, what is the difference between a moth and a butterfly? Now, there's not actually a huge difference between the two of them. They are both part of the same group of animals. The main difference is that moths tend to fly at nighttime and in the evenings, and butterflies we see about in the daytimes. They are both pollinators, but they just pollinate those different plants that are available at those different times. How long has Chester Zoo been taking care of animals for? From Naughty Ash in year 5. Now, that's a really, really good question because we've been taking care of animals for a really, really long time. Chester Zoo, we are getting close to our 100-year anniversary, which will be in 2031. So we're not too far away from it. So almost 100 years of looking after animals here at Chester Zoo. Okay, from Greenbank School. How many different types of big cat live in the rainforests? Now, we have 5 types of big cats in total around the world, and of those 5 big cats, 4 of them live in the rainforest. So we've got tigers, leopards, jaguars, and also lions. We often think about lions being in the savannah in Africa, but you actually find them in the forests in India as well. Okay, our next question is going to be, what is the biggest rainforest in the world? From Maple Cross. Now, the Amazon rainforest is the biggest rainforest in the world, all the way over in South America, and it spans across 9 different countries. So it's in lots of different areas, and it's about 5.5 million kilometers squared. It's a huge amount of space. I can't even imagine how big that sort of amount of space is. We had another question come in, which is about how many animals, how many species are found in the rainforest. And it's somewhere around up to about the 70% of all species that live on the land, terrestrial species, are found on Earth in the rainforest. That's a huge, huge percentage. Okay, if you were the government, what fun and creative things would you do to help the rainforest? Well, one of the big things that the government can do to be able to help is sort of spreading that word, taking those actions, looking at sustainable ways of making sure that our supermarkets are supplying fair amounts of food, that we're looking at only having more plant-based meals, so having less meat. Making sure actually something that we can all do is message and get in contact with our government to be able to tell them that we want to see a change to protect the rainforests. Oh, this is a fantastic one. I'm not sure what school this one's from, so let us know if this is you guys. But we are a deforestation-free champion school, and one of the things we've done to make changes in our school menu so that our meals do not use any ingredients that are driving deforestation. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Huge well done to your school if this is you guys. This is a wonderful action to be able to take, and something that we could see lots of other schools doing as well. So if you can hear that one and think that's something that you guys could do, try have a go at doing that in your school as well. Okay, it is called a rainforest. So that is something that we have a lot of in a rainforest, and that is rain. So we have been asked, how much rainfall do you get in a year in a rainforest? And it's about between 180 to 200 centimetres of rainfall a year in a rainforest. That's a huge amount of rain. Okay, our next question is, how much does a male hornbill weigh? Now, this can all depend on the type of hornbill, but on average, they can weigh up to about 3 kilograms. That's a huge amount, 3 kilograms for this little bird. Okay, another question. Now, I think this might be one of my favorites to talk about, is from Kingswell is, are there any rainforests in the UK? Now, we don't have a tropical climate in the UK, so we haven't got any tropical rainforests, but we do have temperate rainforests. And you can find these temperate rainforests down the south of England, around sort of Devon and Cornwall and Cumbria. You can then also find some over in Northern Ireland. You can find some in North and West Wales, as well as up on the south coast of Scotland. So we do actually have rainforest in this country. Someone's obviously been eyeing up my table as well, and we've been asked, what is that big green spiky thing? So this right here is a durian fruit. They are also known as the vomit fruit. If I was to open this one up, it would smell rather unpleasant. It's not the most nice smelling fruit, but it is a fruit that animals like our orangutans love to eat. And we can see our orangutans have those big sharp canine teeth, which are fantastic for getting through the hard sort of skin of big fruits like the durian fruit that we've got here. Now, I've never eaten durian fruit myself, but I have been told apparently it tastes a lot better than it smells. So our durian fruits there, yes, I've heard some things better than just the smell on those. Okay, I've also got how much tropical rainforest is on Earth. So how much space does that cover up? So if we just think about the Earth's land, it covers about 12% of the Earth's land. But the whole entire globe is about 3.6%. So that's including land and water for that one there. I've got another question in from Willowbrook Primary School asking, which rainforests do Chester Zoo work in? So we work over in rainforest over in sort of South America, in Southeast Asia, in Madagascar, and in Africa. And I think I've got time for just one more question, which is from Heswell Primary School. What is the fastest animal in the rainforest? Now, the fastest animal is probably actually going to be a bird, one of those little songbirds flying around, zooming through the trees. Very different from those very, very slow sloths. Now, thank you guys so much for all of those amazing questions. And I also want to say a huge thank you to Lizzie for joining us for our lesson today. So thank you so much, Lizzie. You have been amazing. But it is now time for me to hand back over to Lizzie.
Oh, thank you all for sending in those great questions. And don't forget, there are some incredible free resources all about the rainforest available on the website, exactly where you can actually watch this lesson again. In fact, watch it 10 times if you like. A massive thank you for joining us on this brilliant World Rainforest Day. I've absolutely loved it, and we hope you've enjoyed it too. And we'd love to see you here at Chester Zoo. So make sure you do come and visit. You can actually book a really exciting curriculum linked workshop, or if you live far away, fear not, you can also book into a virtual workshop. I'd like to say a big thank you to Mark, to Kat, Katie, and my wonderful co-host Ellie as well. And of course, a massive thank you all for watching wherever you are. And don't forget, keep your eyes peeled on the live Chester Zoo website, because there may be another live lesson here at Chester Zoo in the autumn. See you soon. Bye.